views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hi, welcome to Mission Bronx. Mission Bronx is a collaboration between BronxNet and the Center for Bronx Nonprofits at Hostos Community College. And I'm your host for this show, Eileen Newman. Today we're going to be visiting a very special place here in the Bronx, the Bronx Documentary Center. We're going to be meeting with the executive director who started the program and talking to some of the people working here and some of the students taking advantage of this wonderful opportunity to learn about photography and filmmaking and seeing different worlds. So come with me into the world of Bronx Documentary Center. So, Michael, tell me what were you doing before you did this? So let's start with that, because this wasn't the beginning for you, right. I know.
I was a photojournalist for about 25 years, and I was a contract photographer at the New York Times. I was mostly covering Iraq and Afghanistan and other conflicts for them.
And so what made you decide, I don't want to do that? I mean, I can understand what would make you decide not to do that anymore, but what made you decide this and come here, and how did that journey?
Yeah, I'd been living in the Bronx off and on for a lot of years, and I moved here originally in the 1980s and just had a lot of history here. I loved the Bronx, and I wanted to come back to New York, and the Bronx was the only place that I really wanted to be. You know, had the sense of community that was important to me, and I wanted to teach and sort of, you know, I have this love obviously for journalism and for documenting, you know, important events, historical events, political events, etc. And I wanted to find a way to teach that to kids. And it was something I worked on with a friend of mine, the idea, my friend Tim Hetherington, and we talked about this for years and kind of planned this place out where we could work with kids. And Tim was killed in Libya in 2011, so a bunch of friends got together, volunteers, and we started this.
I don't think I ever realized that he was going to do this with you. I know that there's been a conversation, so somehow that energy is here. So I remember when I first met you, this was not an easy start. Right. I
mean, it was basically an abandoned building. You know, it had. I'd gotten the building, you know, purchased the building from the city, but I mean, there was no floor here. There was no electricity. I mean, it was really very bare bones. So.
Did you know how to do all that stuff, or?
Yeah, I had worked as a carpenter for many years.
Okay.
Yeah, I worked. That was my background actually before I was a photographer. So. I'd done a lot of construction work, so I knew how to build stuff, which was helpful. And you know, I knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to do exhibitions, we wanted to show movies, and you know, we wanted to do education for kids. And so we started doing that. You know, we didn't have a budget, we didn't have any money, but we had lots of volunteers, and we just started doing it. We bought a projector and started doing things, and people came immediately, right away. So.
Yeah, that's what I remember being here at a screening a while ago, and it was so, at the beginning, or the beginning when I first started knowing about you, and I remember people being at the door and they couldn't get in.
Right. Yeah. When we first, before we opened, we did a meeting with, you know, some arts professionals, and they said it's not going to work. Yeah. They said you're not going to be able to do this in the Bronx. Nobody's going to come. Yeah. And right from the beginning, people came.
People are hungry for that.
Hungry for it, absolutely, absolutely.
And so, what are the age of the kids that you're working with?
We've got 2 middle school classes and 2 high school classes, so basically 12 to 18 years old. Okay. And we have a number of you know, 19 and 20-year-olds who've graduated from our program, and they're now teaching with us, working with us. So we're hiring a lot of our students as they graduate,
which is a terrific model. And I know that when we were talking to Tony, he was talking about being mentored and that you.
Right.
So it's also professional development for them. It's getting them ready.
A lot. We have a lot of young photographers that are starting to work, you know, getting assignments from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Daily News, etc. And we're
That's
also
fabulous.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We've also started, we're doing a lot of college prep, which we never conceived of originally.
Right.
But what we were finding is that a lot of our seniors, 18 years old, were graduating, and they really weren't planning for college, partly because in their schools they weren't getting the prep that they needed. So we have 3 days a week, we have a college counselor now, and that's really helped.
And you're getting another building.
Yeah, we're expanding into a building across the street. So we're just finishing a 14 and larger dark room. And we're starting a filmmaking division. We got a 2-year grant from the Ford Foundation, so BDC Films is launching in about a month from now. So we'll be doing fellowships for Bronx filmmakers, and so we're excited about that.
That's wonderful. That's
We had an information session for people who are interested in it, you know, young Bronx filmmakers. And I thought we'd get a few people, maybe three, maybe we got 30 people.
Right.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And that was probably in a snowstorm. Because
there's so much interest.
Filmmakers, absolutely, and filmmakers up here.
So much interest.
So, well,
and talent. You know, they were talking about the projects they'd done, and it was amazing to see that much talent in one room. Really impressive.
Well, it's great. It's always great to be here. I love coming here, but I've never really talked to you about the sort of genesis of it. So, congratulations, and
Thank you.
And it'll be fun to see all the things that you do going forward.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm David Gomez, president of Eugenio Maria de Hostos Community College of the City University of New York. Hostos first opened its doors in 1968. The men and women who made it happen fought for an institution that would change the lives and forge the futures of the people of the South Bronx.
When I first walked in, I got the sense of community and family.
Hostos has transformed not only my life, but the life of so many other people in the South Bronx for 50 years.
I am honored to serve Hostos as we celebrate our 50th anniversary and prepare for another half century.
So tell us about this.
So when my friend was killed in Libya, when Tim Hetherington was killed, he was my roommate, so his mother gave me all his books, and he had a huge photo library. And so I took all the books, and I just put them in storage, but I thought, well, one day we could have a library. And when we expanded up here and got this room, you know, we put all Tim's books of the foundation. We've been adding to it,
wonderful.
and it's now, believe it or not, one of the largest photo research libraries in the United States. We have about 4,000 books.
How incredible!
Yeah, we have a lot more books. This is just about half of it.
So, are you going to bring them all over across the street when you?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out. I think we're going to expand because we have more space over there. But we had NYU here. NYU photo program came and they looked and they said, "Wow, this is as good as our library."
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
So.
And does the public come to use it as a
Saturdays,
research library?
It's open on the weekends, yeah. It's open on Saturdays, or by appointment they can come, and it's free. You can come and stay and look at books till your heart's content. So.
There must be, I'm always thinking about this, there must be some kind of funding for this.
The library? I don't think the library's ever been funded.
But
I don't think we have any funding for the library. We just
But
did it.
there must be some family foundation who would want to put money into this because
I don't think we've ever gotten money. We built it ourselves, myself and some volunteers. Built all the shelves, welded up the supports, built the ladder, everything, table, you name it. So
This is
yeah,
fabulous.
we did it cheap, you know, the way that we
Yeah.
we have to do a lot of things,
Yeah.
but we got it done. And that's Tim's photo from a school for the blind in Sierra Leone. And
Oh my God.
one of our photographers chose that photo. We wanted a big photo for the wall.
It's beautiful.
And Tim's parents now support that school. And it's in Freetown in Sierra
And
Leone.
have they seen this?
Yeah, they've been here.
And where are they?
They're in Manchester in England.
Oh, okay, so they're
Yeah.
far. They're far.
Yeah,
But,
so-
but this is really wonderful. And this table is amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
But I can imagine this bigger.
It needs to be bigger because
So
sometimes now it's packed. Sometimes we'll have, 15, 18 students in here. It's just too, we've grown so much. We started out with
Yeah.
7 students and now we have more than 50. So we just need more space.
But this is I remember the first time I saw it, it's such a hidden away place,
Right.
this room. And I
Yeah.
remember walking in and thinking, wow,
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah, it is.
phenomenal.
It is.
So.
That's Tim's helmet from Afghanistan that he
Oh
wore in
my God.
Afghanistan. And so we have a lot of his stuff here.
Yeah.
And then we also, it's almost all photo books, but we also have like his books on, political science and history. And he lived in West Africa, so there's a lot of books on West
remember that,
Africa.
yeah.
So,
How
we
long
also-
ago was that? It was
He was killed in
2011. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it. So.
Yeah, so,
Well, this is an amazing memorial.
yeah, thanks. Our kids
But a
love it.
living
Yeah,
memorial, but it's
our
a
kids
living
love it.
memorial, and it's
Yeah.
great because everything you talked about with him, you both wanted to work with kids and wanting to do something like this, and
Right.
then this is part of it.
It is.
So
It is. We had Eli Reed came, great photographer. He came last week. We also have an artist in residence bedroom for photographers.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was here last week, so these books arrived today. He sent us these books to add to the library.
These are
He's a really great photographer. He's the first African-American photographer at Magnum Photos. He's been there for 30 years. He's just got incredible work. And
this is amazing.
yeah, these are expensive out-of-print books,
Right,
so,
right.
it's nice that people can come and
And see something they would never be able to find.
every book is its own world. Every book is an experience and an education.
Yeah.
So,
This is wonderful. The black and white. I love that high contrast. So.
yeah. This is pre-digital, so it's all film.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah, but we have a lot of visiting photographers who come and stay.
Which is also terrific that you give them a space.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah.
who does that?
They can come and stay for free and work. They've got a bedroom, and the only thing we ask is that they do a workshop with our kids. You know? So they'll teach a class, or they'll do something like what Jun Lee is going to do today, where he'll do a walkthrough.
Yeah. Explain the work.
Yeah, and so our students are getting access to photographers from all over the world, and seeing all kinds of new work. I mean, in the past few months, we had photographers from Mexico, from Holland, from India. That's just recently. So our students get to meet those folks and see what they're doing.
I can't tell you how many people I know who would love to be that age again and be able to
Right.
do this.
Yeah.
I have a list of people who would
Yeah.
love,
No,
because
it's cool.
it's hard to get that
Right.
have that kind of experience. But
Yeah.
well, double thank you for
Sure.
bringing us up here too, because I always feel like this is the
Sure.
sort of magical place.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thanks.
My pleasure.
So what do you do here? I think you do things from both ends of the life spectrum. So
Well, I first started at the BDC. I started as a volunteer. I came and I would volunteer, gallery sit, and do events. And then from that, I became a member of the Bronx Photo League, which is the adult version of our classes for photography. After that, I was given the opportunity to become the teacher for the Bronx Senior Photo League, and that is our photography class for senior citizens here in the South Bronx. And then after that, I'm also, we saw that there was a huge need for college counseling for our Bronx Junior Photo League. And so I am now the counselor for the College Success Program here at the Bronx Documentary Center.
So it's just you?
Yes.
That's so. When you say college, are you helping them with their applications? Are you giving them advice? Or
yes, it's a really exciting program. Like I said before, we saw such a huge need for college counseling. So what we offer here at the Bronx Documentary Center is one-on-one counseling, and we help them with every aspect of applying for college. But not just our seniors, our graduating seniors, but also we work with juniors, sophomores, and we're trying to work with our elementary school kids, because the earlier that you introduce the whole reason of going to college and that whole process, the more successful you are with college applications.
And do you keep in touch with them after, when they're in college, and then when they, because I know I've talked to a lot of organizations that say that's a real pivotal piece, because sometimes the kids get there and they miss that connection.
That is definitely, that's a great point, because a lot of people, they fall through the cracks after they leave a supportive program like that. We just started the College Success Program here at the BDC, and we started in the fall. And so this is our first year, but we definitely, part of the future for this program is actual follow-up with students that are going to college. Right now we have 3 students that were admitted to college, and we're definitely planning on following up with them as they go through school.
Right, that's terrific. And so tell me about the seniors.
I love the senior photography class. It's run right now through Mitchell Senior Center here in the South Bronx.
Oh, okay.
And I have 13 official students, but we have a lot of seniors that just come and sit in class. And basically, we've been there for a year with the same students and really evolving, not just teaching them how to use a point and shoot digital camera, but really teaching them how to look at a photograph, how to create a really striking photo, but more importantly, how for them to see themselves as artists.
Right.
And for them to see their lives, their daily lives, and their community as pieces of art that is really meant to be documented and important.
That's wonderful. And then the other end is you're working with students. With what age are the students who aren't the senior students?
So we're dealing with students from elementary school all the way to high school.
And who do you work with?
And so, I work with all of them, I specifically counsel the seniors and the juniors, and I'm starting to counsel the sophomore students. So we're dealing with students that are about to begin their lives, outside of home, and then we're also dealing with students that are after retirement. And so they're in 2 very different points in their lives, but it's never, one thing that we did learn is that it's never too late to learn to be an artist, to learn, more importantly, as people of color, to learn how to express themselves. And it's so important for us to document our own lives and our own contributions in our own community. And so with both the younger students and my senior citizens, it's really being able to look at their neighborhood in a completely new way, where they themselves feel empowered to be able to really exercise their voice and point of view.
This is a wonderful place. There are just amazingly wonderful things happening, and it's great to see it grow, because I remember when it first started. So, and thank you for spending time with us. You have a lot on your plate, so I appreciate it.
No, thank you so much.
Thanks. I've just been talking with Tony and Kayla about, first of all, this incredible book which Bronx Documentary Center has produced, and they have beautiful pieces of work in it, and it's called Journeys, Immigration Stories from the Bronx Junior Photo League. So that's what happens here at the Bronx Documentary Center. People come and they learn photography, and we're now in the gallery. So there's a pieces of work from a show called Father Figure, but we wanted to talk to Tony and Kayla because they've been taking classes here to see how they got here and how they found out about it and if they were interested before. So Kayla, can we start with you? So how did you, first of all, were you interested in photography and that's what made you find this?
So in middle school, that's when I got like really interested in photography and started, my mom helped me like find programs where I found ICP at the Point, which helped me with black and white photography. And after, towards the end of middle school, when I was about to graduate, I asked ICP to help me like put together a portfolio to help me to go to my dream high school, which was art and design.
And you're there.
And
oh, great.
Yeah, so I graduated from art and design, and now I'm in LaGuardia Community College.
And are you studying photography there too, or here?
So mostly I'm just here in the Bronx Documentary Center, and I'm just like doing all my classes in LaGuardia, and I plan on transferring to an art college.
That's great.
Yep.
And Tony, you tell everybody what you told me you wanted to do, and you were so sure that you were going to do it that I'm totally sure you're going to do it.
My mother would ask me what I was going to do for a living, and I'd always tell her, photojournalist for the New York Times, and then she'd yell at me for half an hour.
And what did she think now?
She still yells at me.
But you keep going.
Yeah, well, photography for me has been like one of the kind of main things that has kept me going, you know. It's the only thing I'm kind of really good at, and I love, you know, I like it a lot. I'm able to talk about certain things that I wouldn't normally talk about, or I wouldn't know the words to kind of explain it correctly.
So how did you discover this place?
Well, like Kayla, I also did ICP at the Point.
Oh, okay.
I did that for 3 semesters, and one trip was here to the BBC, where I saw Javier Ortiz's work, I think. We All We Got, and that kind of we talked about like community and identity, and that's kind of what my work deals with a lot.
So your next step is to both of you have the same sort of next step, to find an art school where you can learn more and then eventually get the jobs that your dream job after your dream school. But so you've been going out on shoots though, right, Tony? Haven't you said that you've been shooting with photographers who are more experienced?
The BDC got me a mentorship with Todd Heisler, and this morning we photographed the walkouts in East Harlem, the Manhattan Center of Science and Mathematics.
And what about you, Kayla? Have you been doing photography in addition to going to school and everything else?
So mainly it's like coming here, and I also work here. So it's like helping the middle school class that I teach, like photography. I'm trying to like start projects on my own, because I should challenge myself if I want to go to the college that
Good for you. So I'm going to ask both of you, what's your most favorite thing to photograph? If you have a favorite, or something that you did photograph that you thought I love doing this. This is the kind of work I want to do.
So when I started, it was always taking pictures of like trees and flowers, and I still do that, but I like to try to take more environmental and try approach, do portraits and stuff, which I have a difficulty doing, but I want to like try doing that.
Good for you. And Tony, what about you?
Family for me has been a very important subject throughout my life. I've kind of always been denied my family in Mexico, who I didn't even know about. In February of last year is when I went to Mexico for the first time and really kind of understood what family meant in a very odd way. And for me, I'm kind of pursuing a project about that, a very long-term project for me. And so it would deal with what it means to be a Mexican, because I've always been criticized for being Mexican or not Mexican enough. And on top of that, this kind of lack of family relationships that I have, I'm trying to piece together with my photos.
And so is that the subject in this book? Are your photographs about family?
That is immigration stories. And so that's like another project we did.
So it's a different one. So okay, but I could talk to you two for a long time, and I want to see all of your pictures. But but we're not going to have the time. But I want to thank you so much for spending the time talking to me, because I know you're busy. And good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. So that's all we have time for today. Hope you enjoyed this visit to Bronx Documentary Center. And if you've missed any part of the show or any other shows, just go to BronxNet.org and look for Mission Bronx. And don't forget to tune in next month when we take another trip to one of our wonderful nonprofits in the Bronx.
Everything is here for the taking, my friend. You only want